Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 12. That's right, episode 12 of Wirecast Live. I'm Andrew Haley, and thank you for joining us. Today is Thursday, July 28th, 2016, and the time is, by my watch, 2:31 Pacific time. So we are live right now. We are doing our weekly show of Wirecast tips, tricks, information. We interview heavy hitters. We interview people that we partner with. We want to share you the latest and greatest information we can on Wirecast, streaming live, digital streaming, and anything in between as far as getting you up and running with this new way to share more information and share things with people across the globe, wherever you are, using platforms like Facebook Live, which we're live on right now, or whatever your streaming platform is of choice. So if you have a comment or question, say hello, type it in the comments section. That would be on my left here. So that's going to appear on the side. We'll read those comments. I can take any questions. Today's topic is all about displaying web pages and using the new web display feature in Wirecast. So we are going to show you how to best use that feature or some ways you can use it, and then, take you through a quick tour. It's not going to be a long broadcast unless there's things you have specific questions on, whether it's this topic or other parts of Wirecast or the software. We can spend some time. This is just a fun way to just share information and share stories. If you have something that you're working on that you want to share with the rest of us, please. We always like to see how you're using this stuff and what you're doing with it, and that just gives us ideas and helps inspire us to make more features that can enrich your either hobby or professional life, or just something you like to do on the weekends. Whenever you are streaming live, you're using video cameras and audio and setting up all the different components that need to go into a system like that. That's our wheelhouse. That's what we love to talk about here. So please, feel free to share any stories you have. All right, so type them in the comment question, or you can always tweet at us at @Wirecast, and we will be happy to get back to you that way. We have a great team that watches that and can get back to you on social media as well. So either way, reach out to us if you like. If you have something fun to share, we have people with a lot of our case studies come from users like you, and we are able to share that with other users and how inspire the way that they're using software or push it to the next level. And then we get our ideas ourselves for things that we do on the broadcast here. So this is an organic, fun time in live streaming. A lot of different sites are popping up, and big companies like Facebook and YouTube are getting in and making it really easy and more accessible than ever for people to do this and to stream live information, talk shows, video, and content on the topics and subjects they love and want to connect over. So that's what we do here. Mark, great. Thanks for leaving the first comment. Do we plan on passing embedded 608 and 708 captions? We do plan on that. I don't have a time frame for you, so but it is something that we're well aware of and is a requested feature from time to time. So we'll definitely let you know when that comes. I don't have a specific date for you though, or a version that's going to be in. All right, Kareem, you're in Egypt. Nice. That's awesome. We're really glad you're using the product. And please, thanks for saying hi and letting us know where you're at. I'd love to visit Egypt someday. That sounds like a really cool place to go. And of course, a lot going on over there too in the last 5 years. So bet your life has been quite busy these days. This one comes from Mohammed. You downloaded, but it's not... but it doesn't work for you. So I would reach out to our sales or support team. You can tweet at them at Wirecast, and they can help you that way. Or you can go to our website at telestream.net, and I can send you a support link, and they'll be able to help you that way. Why don't I do that right now? Pull it up. We'll just go to, you're just going to go to, and I can actually show you on my screen if you like. Go to the Telestream page, go to Contact Support or Sales. If you haven't purchased the program yet, you can always reach out that way, and they'll be able to help you. So if you click on the Contact page, click on Desktop Application Sales, and you can contact the sales team that way. let me post it here for you. Another place is if you have a support question or detail, you need someone to really help you look at an issue, then you're going to want to go to Contact Application Support and click on Wirecast. I definitely recommend you search the knowledge base. Sometimes it's a common issue. You'll find questions in there relating to, whatever they might be. If you type in a keyword, you can usually find it. Alrighty, so those are some links for you guys. No worries, Mark. Glad I could help you there. Josh, can you open Wirecast 6 templates in Wirecast 7, or is it better to start fresh? You can open Wirecast 6 templates in 7. That shouldn't be a problem. It should update them, and everything more or less should get respected. There may be a few changes. If you find that there's too much work or you have to start over, then just build it from scratch, but there shouldn't be any harm. Once you save the project though in 7, you can't go backwards. That's how it's always worked with Wirecast. All right, good stuff, you guys. Let's talk about web display, and Kareem, I will come back and answer your question in just a moment. So on to the topic at hand. How do you display web pages and web content in Wirecast? Well, in Wirecast 7, we've made it really easy using this new feature called the web display. So let me pull up a project here. So let's say I want to add my camera here. I'm going to add just my regular capture camera, just video camera that you're seeing me on here. There we go. And then I want to add a web page or some content either behind me or on the side, or in a slight picture-in-picture. So let's see how we might do that. So I have a URL that I can go to, and this is where it can get really fun. So I could easily, if I want to, add a web display on a lower layer. So we're going to go down here, and you're going to look for not web stream, that's for IP camera sources. That's a Wirecast Pro feature. You're going to want to look for web display. This is an HTML browser built into Wirecast and allows you to just type in the URL. So you'll see here, this will pop up and ask you what you'd like to display. So I'm going to make this 1280 by 720. So you type kind of this would be typing the size of your browser. How large is the browser that you're displaying this on? And then you can choose whether you want a transparent background or not. It's up to you. If you do, then it's going to display anything on the other content that's white, or the background of the page is going to become transparent. We don't need that for this case. Hit OK, and we'll call this Wirecast 7 Overview. Okay, so we're going to type that in, hit OK. And now that should load up behind me. And you can see it's on the lower layer right there, but because I'm on top here and I have this green background, this green wall behind me, we're going to have to key that out. So let's key it out real fast. And there it is. I just hit the key, and I have a live web page behind me right now. So we could do the same thing with the front of YouTube. If we wanted to do another web display, we could actually just go in and change the URL. It could be www.youtube.com. And actually, I changed the name of it, but not the address. So you're going to have to go into the Properties tab here of the web display and then type in the correct URL. So www.youtube.com. And you can see YouTube has now loaded behind me. So now I'm on that web page. So whatever web pages you want, you can make you can point as many web displays as you like, and just click back and forth between them, right? So that's one of the cool things about this. And you'll notice that you can't browse through them, you can't scroll. You might be able to go to a different part of it by entering an override CSS command, but I wouldn't know what that would be. So if you know CSS and you're familiar with what you can do with that, then you might be able to scroll down the page or show a different part of a URL. You might have, if you have, I think what they're called, like widgets, or when you have like a hashtag on the same page and it just takes you further down the page. A good example of that would be like our let's see, if we go to our telestream.net page here, I'll pull this in, and you click on, say, devices or something for Wirecast, and you go to the features, and you click on, say, produce, right? So then this is the same web page, but it's got this like hashtag produce on the end of it. Then you could just have this URL, and that's going to take you to this part of the page. So if we type that in to our URL window here, then it'll jump to just that part, which is very handy. So if you can do that, and I don't know if there's CSS overrides that we could put on top of that, and you would be able to do that. But that would be the only way you could control, is either by directly linking to a part of the page using a widget of some kind or a hashtag on the end of the URL that's already been coded by the web team or the web developer, or by entering an override command. Now there's some other cool stuff that you can do with this. I mean, we're just kind of getting started. This would be just displaying kind of a plain white background, but obviously the web holds all kinds of content, all kinds of rich, interesting content. So one of them that's very common these days is animations. So let's load up a new one, and let's call this planets. And you'll see that if you go to a site like Giphy, go to www.giphy.com, and you search around in some of their GIFs, you can find really neat publicly available GIFs. And they are just shared on sites like this where people make them. And when you click on the GIF, they'll give you all kinds of link information on the GIF. And one of the ones you can grab that's actually really handy is if you grab the direct download link, or where the file itself is hosted, and you copy that, then you can bring that GIF into Wirecast directly. And there it is, you can see. And this would be a good one where you probably do want to make the background transparent. I mean, it really depends on the size of the GIF that you've made, or the size of the actual GIF file itself. Usually they're not that large. And then you can hit the transparent, and now it's just going to do the animation portion of the part of the file of the page, but get rid of all the stuff that's not the animated GIF. Hit OK. And now we can bring that in, and if this was on an upper layer, say we even brought it up here, I'm going to actually duplicate this shot and turn off the green screen for this one. So then if you had an animated GIF on an upper layer like that, you could float it around the screen and share it. You know, like have it in the corner. If you throw on a neat like property or like a matte, you could use a drop shadow. That's actually, the drop shadow won't really show through on the transparent part, but you could, make it look the way you want it. You can also crop it down. So if we head to the crop section here, we crop the right and crop the left and bottom. There you go. You've got a neat way to host GIFs. And then, of course, I could throw this in the backdrop behind me and make it sort of the full background by scaling it up, or scale to fit. Now I've created my own animated background. Looks like I'm juggling planets there. And so you can just do cool, fun stuff. So this could just be your backdrop as you talk about things, or you talk about space, or whatever topic you are talking about for that day. Then, throw on a cool background. And then, of course, you can do fun stuff too. Like, we'll do, because GIFs get quite silly as well. So let's do a fun one. I'm going to grab, this is one of the ones that I saw, and I was saying, well, I think we probably have to use that. So we bring that in as well, and you can have, you know, all kinds of fun with this stuff. So keep that in mind as you scale to fit there. Now the scale to fit is only going to work for depending on how large the frame you have there. So if you need to actually scale it up, like way up, you'll need to do that. Now keep in mind, GIFs are GIFs. They're not necessarily animated videos. So you might want to bring in an animated video if you want a really high quality background. Or if you're not particularly picky on quality, you can use something like that. So there we go. That is basically something I wanted to show you, some of the cool things you can do with things like the web display and the types of fun stuff you can have with it. And it's a really easy way to bring in sources on the web or out there in the web, whether they're animated, whether they are static or just part of a page, or to see what's going on a page in real time. And you know, you're going to need to use your cropping tools. You're going to need to use your you may need to use the transparent background box and things like that to adjust it the way you want it so it appears in the background. And it's very handy in combo with things like a green screen, because then you can be right in front of the content itself. But if you don't have a green screen, that's fine. You can still use picture-in-picture and, you know, put the animated stuff in the corners and so forth. So pretty easy and straightforward. Any questions on that? Yes, definitely. You should try that. No worries. Kareem, yeah, I'm glad you liked it. You can't scroll websites, so there's no control over that. If you want to scroll websites, you're still going to need to use the screen capture tool. So, you know, we could, of course, the old way of doing this, and I'm going to go back to my screen for a second here. The old way of doing this would be to say, go to, I'll go to telestream.net. Actually, I can grab the URL right here. And if I wanted to go through a web page or scroll through a web page, I would create a screen capture, right? So I might do the same thing, and this might be the easiest way. It's the old way of doing it. There's no wrong. It's not wrong. It's just if you need more control, then we highly recommend you do that. So you're going to go to a window or monitor. We're going to select, actually, we're going to do, sorry, capture type is going to be a window. We're going to select the Chrome window and hit OK. And now I've got just my web page, but now it's through my browser. And there it is. And so now if I decide I want to scroll through this, it should show up live as I scroll. So let's do that real fast. Make sure that's full screen. Oddly enough, though, that doesn't seem to... It makes me wonder... Oh, it's this one. Ha! That's why. Okay, I had two windows of the same page open. So this is the one where you would scroll through. And if you want to turn off your mouse so people can't even see the cursor, you can turn that off. And now, if you scroll through it, I'm going to close this. There we go. Oddly enough, I think it jumped. Okay, so if you want to turn off, I have my mouse here, and I can scroll through the whole thing. We could, of course, resize this so it takes up the full screen like the other one did. And you know, now you can zoom in on the parts of the screen you just want to show. We can even pull this down just a tad, just so it gets the top of the web page, but no more. And now you're scrolling. But that's through the screen capture method right here. And it's a little bit of a different process. It's not, the web page isn't getting translated or you know, so there's or interpreted by an HTML reader, which it does in the web display. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. In fact, still might be exactly what you need and the way you want to use this feature in your own workflows. All right, so you guys have a lot of questions, a lot of comments. That's really good. Keep them coming. I think I said, Kareem, I was going to go back and answer about 4K cropping. So you should, 4K cameras are still tricky. You need to correct a 4K camera plus a 4K input, and all of that needs to be in the live, that needs to be captured live, and then it has to get brought in and configured in the source settings. I would find that a 4K source live and on the fly is going to be a lot of data for any computer to handle. So just do your testing, and you may need to drop it down, or if your capture cards aren't high enough resolution, they're just HD capture cards. There's no 4K streaming, so you won't get that, but you might be able to bring in a 4K source. Okay, and then what was your, let's see, let's go to the next question here. Kareem, you can replay more than one camera. You can using the new ISO feature. So if you go to configure your ISO replay, if you have more than one camera connected, which I don't, you can add ISOs for each one, and then you choose your video source up here. And if you have more than one camera connected, then you'll be able to choose multiple cameras to isolate, and then you can configure them for replay. So you should be good to go on that with Wirecast 7. Bet you didn't know that. Sandy, live tutorials are great. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the compliment. Is there any way to get a complete course in Wirecast 7? Does lynda.com cover it? No, at this time, I don't think there's a lynda.com course, although maybe I should ask them if they want to do one, because that would be fun. And there's no comprehensive Wirecast 7 course. We haven't sat down to create a modular content of any kind. I think you'll see more videos and how-tos coming out over the next few months and tutorials. In the meantime, this live tutorial is a great way to learn. There is some What's New Getting Started webinars where I did that. We'll probably do another basic series of webinars coming up in the next few months, and but nothing formal as far as a Wirecast 7 course. I've thought about developing one actually in my spare time, if I have any, but I haven't yet. So we'll just stay posted. We'll definitely try to keep putting out good content here and short videos and how-tos. There's a very nice getting started video which is up that one of our guys here did. And if you go to the Wirecast page, go to resources. So this is where you're going to want to go. And then you'll see the demos and tutorials here. Wirecast 7, getting started. And you've got a quick start guide, activations, but this is your quick start video. This is a great little video on what you can do to just get really up and running. So Lucas did a really nice job on this. It's fast. It's only like 6 minutes. He tried to keep it really short, and it teaches you some quick basics on what to do. And then we do still have a bunch of Wirecast 6 material here, and a whole tutorial series that Lucas did for that, which is very good. And a lot of this, I mean, it's changed for sure, but the principles are still there, so it wouldn't hurt to watch these. It's a little different the way things are in 7 now, but much of the same type of process of adding shots and getting things ready is still holds very true here. Things are a little different in the interface, but not, I think if you watch the What's New in Wirecast 7, and you'd probably be able to get it pretty quickly. There's a good one here, What's New in Wirecast 7. This is an hour-long tour, and so once you kind of watch the old videos and then you see what's new in 7, you can kind of put it together, and you should be able to learn pretty quickly. There's also some YouTube resources you can put. All these videos are available on YouTube, so we do that as well. And you'll be a master in no time. Is there a central bank? Yeah, so wirecasttube.com, and I think I just showed you central bank at the resources page on Wirecast. So that's, let me put the link there for you. I'm going to grab it real fast off my page. All right, Let's do that. It's a good place to get started. You can't find filters in the properties that are filters there anymore. So no, filters have been taken out. Those were all based on the QuickTime filters, and I don't even think they were available on the Windows version of Wirecast. So what filters there are now native to both. They're built into Wirecast, and they're native to both Windows and Mac. So there's no difference between the two versions on that anymore. And as far as where they're located, really, the filters you have right now is just the color filter. So you have color correction here in the shot layer properties tab, but that's pretty it. It's a bare bones filter. One of the cool things about 6 was there were a lot of really neat little filters and things like that you could play with. They were limited, they were a little clunky, there were some bugs, but you know, they were a little treasure trove that Mac users got to experience, and you can do some really fun things. For now, it's going to be a lot more kind of boring. We won't do as many crazy, exciting video filters anymore because, you know, while they looked really cool, very few people actually use them. All right, Sandy, thanks for watching. And Ulysses, hope that answered your question. Josh, can you use the old desktop presenter with Wirecast 7? Any update to Wirecast Cam? So good questions all. So the old desktop presenter still applies for remote desktops. So you would still go to, if I had a second monitor on another computer on my network locally, then I wanted to capture that. Like if we wanted to bring in the control room or have my laptop and I want to bring that screen in, then I would head over to, well, actually, let's do this. I'll just show you on my screen here. So this guy, you could head over to, you just type into Google desktop download into Google, and you'll find it on our page here. I'll put this link right here. This is what you would download if you were, so I'm posting that in the comments there, but that is where where you would download that, and you do need the newest version, I think 2.0.7 to work. And it's a free app. Just download it, load it onto the remote computer on the network. It can't be your buddy across the country unless you guys are VPN'd into each other, and even then, you know, you may have some issues. You know, it should be on the same subnet and then of your network, same LAN, and then you can display their screen. It's basically a little screen capture tool, screen app that works across the network. This is actually going to get changed when we come out with NDI, which is a better way to do that anyway. So desktop presenters, even not remote desktop presenters, what we call, is not going to be around all that much longer, in my opinion. I think you know, you should start to see that shift over to a higher, better technology for that, and a lot easier too. And then once you download and install this app, though, you'll need the IP address. It has a little IP address. In fact, I can download it now, just show you what that looks like. Doesn't take too long. It's about 30 megabytes. And once you've downloaded it, just install it. Well, let's load it up here. And you can launch it from here. You can put it in I'm going to put it in my applications folder. All right, here we go. And I'll launch it. So this is all it looks like. It's really just a floating window, and this doesn't get captured at all. So if you look at this guy, it's going to ask you what screen do you want to capture. So one window or screen. Do you want to capture the full screen, or would you like to capture an app window like with Chrome, like we did here, and which version or which window of Chrome? Would you like to capture audio? The next thing it's going to do is give you the local IP address on the network, and you're going to punch that into Wirecast when you add the remote desktop presenter as a source. So let's grab that real fast. Go to you're going to come, let's grab this, and then go into the remote desktop presenter. And again, and then you're going to punch in the IP address. So I'm not going to grab Robert's PC, but that's on the network. You can see it, his just popped right up, but there's other ones that might be as well. We're going to go to Web's Mac Mini. That might be mine. We'll see. Anyway, if it doesn't show up on a list locally or right away, then type in that IP address, which was 10.0.16.147. Hit OK. And it should load up. It should connect across the network. All right. And once that's in there, you know, they'll connect and it'll load up. And there'll be some delay. I don't recommend a full 1920 by 1080 screen capture. I try to keep it 1280 or under or below, just for latency and network issues. But it works pretty well from that. Okay, I hope that answers your questions for desktop presenter on a network. As far as Wirecast Cam, Andy or Josh, there's been no updates yet. I think the app is still iPhone only, no Android yet, and then there will be changes, there will be updates eventually, but I have no time frame on that. Everyone was mostly focused on getting Wirecast 7 out the door, and we have a couple other product launches coming soon, and then I think they'll be able to go back and start updating some of those and adding more features. Ulysses, you're in Mexico. That's awesome. Mexico. Teradek cubes still work. That's right. They still work the same. Although I've not tried them on 7, so I don't anticipate there being a problem. But so as far as I know, they still work. Can I use Wirecast Go to stream to Facebook Live? Can you use Wirecast Go to stream to Facebook Live? I think you can configure, if you get the paid version, you can configure a generic RTMP, so you could configure it the same way you'd configure any generic RTMP encoder to stream to Facebook Live. There's no built-in integration with Wirecast Go and Facebook yet, so when that comes, it'll be a lot easier. You'll just be able to log in. But for now, it's primarily goes just to YouTube. And then if you get the paid version, it's a generic RTMP edition. You can add whatever destination you want to stream to. So Facebook has a ways or a walkthrough that you can go to learn how to set up and stream to your Facebook Live account using that, but no built-in relationship. And if you ask me where that tutorial is for Facebook, I don't know where it is. Media Live. There's a getting started with live, and you could probably follow the steps here. Let me throw that in there. I would assume it would work just the same for with other encoding tools, so you can check that one out. And you follow the steps there for things like that are for some of the other programs that don't have built-in Facebook integration like Wirecast does. So FFmpeg or XSplit or no, OBS might both have the same steps that you would use in the app. Okay, I think we're gonna call it there. Robert, last question, and then we'll call it a day here. So how can I make more layers than 5, than the 5 that there is at the beginning? So Robert, good question. You can actually get, I think, up to 250 layers. And the way you do that is by adding layers within shots. So let me show you on my screen here. You're going to go to click on any shot, and then each shot itself has the ability to add more layers. I think up to another 50 layers inside of them. So you could add text right on top of my video here. We could even cancel that. Maybe we'll just add one of the GIF sources, one of the web displays. So we could add that planets right into here, and now it's part of my shot. And if I move it, around, it's a layer within this shot. So this shot, you can see, has now updated the thumbnail to be both my green screen background as well as my GIF source. And we could do, if we added a title as well, like I was showing you with our text, we can do that. Right, hit OK. And so now we've got that source here. And you can start really piling them up just within that shot. So that's how you get more. There's no way to add more master layers. This 1 through 5 is called the master layer. Are the master layers, and there's only 5 of them. There only ever will be 5. Yeah, 5 bars at the bottom. So I hope that answers your question, Robert. There's no way to add more layers to these. These are master layers. These are layers within shots. Okay, but between them and the layering system within each shot, you should have more than you can handle. All right, I think we'll call it there for today, guys. There will be a show next week. It's going to be guest hosted by my friend and colleague Stephen Haywood from the Tech Buzz, and he will have a very special guest and co-host, Marty McPadden, both of whom are very, very proficient live streamers and broadcasters. Marty was a professional broadcaster with ESPN and other major companies for over 20 years, and Stephen has been using Wirecast since version 2, version 3, I don't even know, since at least 2008 or possibly before. So they're going to be on here, and they're going to teach you all about how to optimize your social media outreach using Facebook Live and streaming online. So I would definitely tune in next week. I won't be here. I'm going to be coming back from Boston. I'll be at Campus Technology. So if you're out in Boston and you are in the higher education market, please swing by. We'll be at a booth there at the show, and I will see you in 2 weeks, but definitely tune in next week for a very special broadcast from our friends Stephen and Marty. All right, that's all for today. Thanks so much, and thanks for watching. Keep streaming.